Take the exit. Turn right into the drive-thru.
Nope, I'm making dinner tonight.
You don't have time. Josh has practice.
Oh, that's right. I'll just get a salad.
And fries?
No, just the salad.
But salad cancels fries.
Salad only.
Fries.
Salad.
Fries.
Food noise isn't fair, but Mochi Health is. The affordable GLP-1 source that puts you on the road to successful weight loss.
Hey, can I get the...
Fries.
Salad. Sorry.
Learn more at joinmochi.com. Mochi members have access to licensed physicians and nutritionists. Results may vary.
This episode of Voices for Justice is sponsored by Shopify. Starting a business is filled with a lot of what-ifs. What if I fail? What if nobody listens to the podcast? What if nobody cares? It can definitely be hard to get over that doubt and uncertainty, but making that leap was one of the best things I've ever done, and it's great to know that I'm not alone with a business partner like Shopify. Shopify is the commerce platform behind millions of businesses around the world, and 10% of all e-commerce in the US, from household names like Heinz and Mattel to brands just getting started. And I'm telling you, their tools really do feel like you have a business partner. They have hundreds of ready-to-use templates to help build a beautiful online store that matches your brand. You can also get the word out like you have an entire marketing team behind you. Easily create email and social media campaigns wherever your customers are scrolling or strolling. And if you get stuck, Shopify is always there to help with their award-winning 24/7 customer service. It's time to turn those what-ifs into with Shopify today. Sign up for your $1 per month trial today at shopify.com/justice. Go to shopify.com/justice. That's shopify.com/justice.
Voices for Justice is a podcast that uses adult language and discusses sensitive and potentially triggering topics, including violence, abuse, and murder. This podcast may not be appropriate for younger audiences. All parties are innocent until proven guilty in a court of law. Some names have been changed or omitted per their request or for safety purposes. Listener discretion is advised.
My name is Sarah Turney, and this is Voices for Justice. Today, I'm discussing the case of Chance Englebert. In 2019, Chance was spending the weekend with his in-laws in Gering, Nebraska. On Saturday, July 6th, he and some family members went golfing, and there was some type of argument over Chance's new job, specifically about him making less money than in his previous position. Chance gets upset, calls his wife Baylee to pick him up, and tells her that he wants to cut the weekend short and just go back home to Wyoming. But instead of going directly home, Baylee says she drives them back to her grandparents' home. And she and Chance get into a fight in the driveway that results in Chance walking away from the home. This is something Chance did when he would get upset. He would take a walk, cool down, and then come back when he was in a better frame of mind. But this time, Chance didn't come back. This is the case of Chance Englebert. Chance Leslie Englebert grew up on his family's ranch with his brothers in Burdock, South Dakota. This is about 13 miles outside of the city of Edgemont. Now, Burdock is actually classified as an uninhabited ghost town. So, Chance grew up in a very rural area, to say the least. He spent a lot of time hunting, riding horses, and even riding bulls. In fact, Chance actually put himself through school at Laramie County Community College on a riding scholarship. During his time there, he studied diesel mechanics and welding. Those who know Chance describe him as a shy and hardworking guy. He's extremely responsible, but also knows how to have fun, and he really likes people. In 2017, when Chance was about 24, he met his future wife online, 19-year-old Baylee. By October 2018, they were married, and by May 2019, their first and only son, Banks, was born. Now, by all accounts, Chance was very excited, albeit a little nervous, for Banks to be born. But once he was, Chance was an amazing father. Unfortunately, not everything was sunshine and rainbows. According to Chance's best man and best friend, Matt Miller, there was some tension between Chance and Baylee's families early on. In one interview, Matt explains that at their wedding, Chance and Baylee got into a fight. Now, he can't say exactly what happened, but he believes Baylee was upset about Chance's family being at the wedding. and Chance's family has made similar statements. But we know Chance is extremely responsible, and he made sure his family was taken care of. They bought a house in Moorcroft, Wyoming, and Chance got a brand new truck. At this time, Chance was working with his friend Matt Miller at a coal mine, while Baylee stayed home with Banks. Baylee planned to begin a nursing program at Gillette College in the fall, but the little family seemed to be doing just fine. It does seem that they even had some extra money for Chance to pursue his hobby of building demolition derby cars. This is something his family participated in when he was growing up and was a huge passion of his. He even talked about how he couldn't wait to buy Banks his first mini derby car. All of this to say, it doesn't seem like there were any major financial concerns. But they did have a scare. Chance, along with 579 other employees, including his best friend Matt, at the Black Jewel coal mine, were laid off after the company was unable to file for bankruptcy. But Chance is smart and resourceful. He and Matt immediately got new jobs at a local propane company as welders. In fact, they were supposed to start these new jobs the Monday after Chance went missing. This is the Monday after the 4th of July in 2019, so they'd really only miss a few days of pay. The 4th fell on a Thursday that year. That weekend, Chance, Baylee, and Banks traveled to Gering, Nebraska to spend time with Baylee's family. This is only about 4 hours away from their home in Moorcroft. It was supposed to be just a short visit. Chance still needed to pick up his welding helmet and some other items on Sunday, so he was ready to hit the ground running at his new job on Monday. When they arrived, things seemed like they were going well. I imagine everyone was excited to see Banks and just spend time with family. On Saturday, July 6th, Chance, along with some members of Baylee's family, decide that they want to go golfing at the Bayard Golf Course about 25 miles away. Baylee and Banks stay behind with the rest of the family at her grandparents' house. Now, there's been a lot of conflicting information about how much drinking was going on at the golf course. But I think it's safe to assume at least some people in the group were drinking. What happens next is a little fuzzy. According to Baylee, there was a misunderstanding. According to Matt, Chance gets in a fight with his in-laws. But what we do know is there was a conversation about how Chance would be making less money at his new job, and this upset Chance. He calls Baylee and asks her to pick him up and take him back home to Wyoming. Around 7:30 p.m., they get back to Baylee's grandparents' house. This upsets Chance because he really wanted to go straight home. So he gets out of the car and starts walking away. It's important to note here that this is something Chance did often when he got upset. He would take a walk to cool down and come back when he was feeling better. So Baylee doesn't panic. She told NBC News, quote, "When he gets mad, he'll walk to cool down. But I didn't think he'd go far. He just kept walking until I couldn't see him. I didn't think he was serious." End quote. Now, I feel like I need to acknowledge again that there is a lot of conflicting information about this case. I mean, even the flyers made by the family and the NamUs entry for Chance have conflicting information about the color of Chance's eyes and his height. There was also a lot of conflicting information about who Chance talked to and when on this night, so I'm gonna do my best here. Now, Baylee says that she and Chance talk on the phone a few times after he walked away. He told her that he was walking south. According to NBC News, Baylee last speaks with Chance at 7:46 p.m., so about 15 minutes after he walked away. Now, some sources say that Matt spoke with Chance at 7:45 p.m., so right before Baylee. But according to Matt's interview with News Nation, he was the last person to speak with Chance on the phone, so take it for what you will. It seems like the calls were just minutes apart, if not only seconds. Which makes sense to me. Chance is upset. He's walking, trying to figure out a way to get back home, talking to whoever he thinks can help. He's talking to Baylee, and he reached out to his best friend. But without having the cell phone records, this part is a little up in the air according to multiple reports. Matt says that Chance did not sound intoxicated, but he did seem angry. He didn't go into detail about what his fight with his in-laws was about, just that he wanted to get home as soon as possible. But this was the Saturday of the 4th of July weekend. Matt was hosting a party at his house 4 hours away, and he and his friends had been drinking all day. So Matt tells Chance to sit tight. He's going to make a few phone calls and get this figured out. He said he'd even shut down his party if he had to. He asked Chance to give him 10 minutes and he'll call him back. Matt ends up calling Chance's mother, Dawn, and they arrange for Chance's uncle, John, to pick him up. But when they try calling Chance back to coordinate this, he doesn't answer. Now, it's very important to note here that when Chance speaks with Matt, he tells him that he's walking north towards the city of Tarrytown, not south like he told Baylee. Whether this was just a mistake or he was trying to throw Baylee off, I don't know. But we do know that he did actually head north. At 7:49 p.m., Chance is seen walking by a Domino's pizza restaurant in Gering. At 7:51 p.m., he's caught on surveillance video as well. Now, Gering Police Chief George Holthus says that Chance appeared to be healthy in this video. He wasn't under distress or appeared to be intoxicated. But it did appear that he was following directions on his phone, because in the video he's looking down at his phone, makes a 90-degree turn to the left, and keeps walking. From here, Chance walks north on 10th Street and then west through Tarrytown, which was just about a mile or two away depending on the path. According to the Gering PD, the last time Chance is captured on camera is shortly after this, when he's seen alone at the intersection of Terry Boulevard and Stable Club Road. This is the last confirmed sighting of Chance. Now, again, we hit another confusing aspect of this case. Despite Matt saying that he was the last person to speak with Chance at 7:45 p.m., Baylee tells NBC News that the last time anyone speaks with Chance is at 8:46 p.m. that night. Who he speaks with, she doesn't say. Now, I apologize that this is confusing. It's just as confusing for me, but I can't sit here and make up a timeline without acknowledging the discrepancies. It feels very dishonest. And I promise it's not for lack of trying. This timeline has been the bane of my existence with this case. At first, I thought this was maybe Matt, since he said that he was the last person to speak with Chance on the phone. But Chance's family says it's not. They stand by that 7:45 time and insist Matt couldn't get a hold of him after. And Baylee says that the last time she spoke with Chance was a minute after Matt, which is also contradictory. So here we are, perpetually confused. On the Facebook page for Chance, his family does give a rundown of the timeline, and they don't even mention this 8:46 p.m. call. So maybe Baylee meant to say 7:46 instead of 8:46? This would be true to her original statement. I don't know. But what I do know is that at 9:08 p.m., the very last text is sent from Chance's phone to a family friend he calls Aunt Katie. And this was a very concerning text. Apparently, Chance just sends like a grumpy face emoji followed by a string of other emojis. But the thing is, Chance apparently never used emojis. He was just one of those people who didn't use them when he texted. So it confused everyone and raised a huge red flag. After this, Chance's phone goes dark. The last tower that picked up Chance's cell phone signal was on County Road 19, west of Scottsbluff. Scottsbluff is about a mile north of Tarrytown, where Chance was last seen on surveillance. All three of these cities are pretty close together. But the Gering PD has made it very clear that Chance could have been miles away from this location, because it's just a rough estimate. But the timing of this is important, because right around the time Chance's cell phone went dark, a massive storm begins rolling in.
This episode of Voices for Justice is sponsored by Chewy. If you have pets, you probably know about Chewy, and you also know that when they say that they have everything you need to keep your pet happy and healthy, they're not messing around. To keep them happy, Chewy has over 100,000 products from all the brands my pets love at prices I love. To keep them healthy, Chewy offers pet prescriptions, pet insurance, telehealth vet visits, and they're even rolling out vet clinics across the country. I've been shopping with them for a very long time. And in addition to the auto-ship feature that gets the dog's food to them every single month, I also love to experiment with different treats. But I'm a bit picky. For me, it has to be high quality with simple ingredients. I recently picked up treats from Shepherd Boy Farms that are 100% just chicken breast. Popcorn and Heber are already obsessed. Chewy has everything you need to keep your pet happy and healthy. And right now, you can save $20 on your first order and get free shipping by going to chewpanions.chewy.com/SarahETurney.
That's chewpanions.chewy.com/SarahETurney to save $20 on your first order with free shipping. chewpanions.chewy.com/SarahETurney. Minimum purchase required. New customers only. Terms and conditions apply. See site for complete details.
Insurance isn't one size fits all. That's why customers have enjoyed Progressive's Name Your Price tool for years now. With the Name Your Price tool, you tell them what you want to pay, and they'll show you options that fit your budget. So whether you're picking out your first policy or just looking for something that works better for you and your family, they make it easy to see your options. Visit Progressive.com. Find a rate that works for you with the Name Your Price tool. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law.
Chance Englebert walked away from his in-laws' home at 7:30 p.m. on Saturday, July 6, 2019. This is after he got into an argument with his wife, Baylee. He walks north from Gering to Terrytown, and the last text from Chance's phone was sent at 9:08 p.m. Then it goes dark. This is right around the time a huge storm hits the city. According to news reports, this was a storm with heavy winds and a lot of lightning. So it's not like it was a light drizzle that you'd want to keep walking through. Baylee told NBC News that because of the storm, her grandfather decided it had been long enough. Things were getting dangerous, and it was time to go out and look for Chance himself. But after driving around for a while, he can't find Chance anywhere. At this point, they hope that he just found some type of shelter from the storm and was waiting for it to pass. Baylee told NBC News, quote, "I figured he'd come slinking in late that night, but he didn't. And when I woke up the next morning and he wasn't there, I knew it was bad." End quote. So the next morning, now Sunday the 7th, Baylee reports Chance missing to the Gering PD. There was a search for Chance on this day, but everyone was really still holding out hope that he would be back on Monday to start his new job. They knew that even if he was incredibly angry, he would never just skip out on work, especially because he had to provide for Banks. But by noon on Monday, Chance never made it to work. This is when it really set in with most of the family that something terrible might have happened to him. So Matt Miller leaves his first day at his new job and travels to Gering to search for his friend. The police seem to take it pretty seriously as time goes on. They find surveillance video and gather some witness statements that help solidify parts of the timeline I mentioned earlier. The search for Chance was large. Over the next few days, they search Gering, Terrytown, and Scottsbluff. They searched vacant trailers, older cars at car dealerships. They searched all along Highway 92 and 26, as well as the BN Railroad in the area. They searched National Park Service grounds. They had people on horses and ATVs. In the end, they searched over 2,400 acres of land. Almost 400 miles were logged searching by air. Like I said, it was a huge search. Now, while these searches were happening, the Gering PD and Chance's family were also trying to spread the word in the media by participating in several press conferences. Here is Chance's mother, Dawn, on the Wednesday after he went missing. I just want to mention that the baby you hear crying is Banks.
Yes, I'm Dawn Englebert. I'm Chance's mom. My husband, Everett. Our boy, Miles. You know Baylee.
Baylee and Banks.
Scott. We just ask anybody to send any information. Somebody had to see something and know something. This just isn't Chance. He's not like this. He definitely would have went for a walk for a few hours to clear his mind, but he would have been home. He would have been with his son.
He's a pretty good old kid. He wouldn't have been gone this way, gone this long for his baby boy.
He's a family man. He loves his whole family. He would have done this to us. So please, and we are offering a reward. People are donating all the time for that. For any information leading to get us Chance back, safe or not safe.
I have watched every press conference I could find on this case. You can just feel how badly the family is hurting over Chance being gone. At one conference, a member of the media asks Chance's brother what Chance is like, and he gets one word out before breaking down and crying for the rest of the conference. But at this time, authorities were narrowing in on a theory they felt could be very likely. After they figured out the general area of where Chance was walking, they realized that he was around several bodies of water, including the North Platte River and the Gering Central Canal. So their first thought was maybe Chance was overpowered by the storm and fell into one of these bodies of water and drowned. However, several people that know Chance say that this possibility is very unlikely. Matt Miller has been very vocal about this. Although he says Chance falling into the river was one of his first thoughts as well, he told News Nation, quote, "I'd say Chance was born and raised for this kind of weather. There's just no way it could take him. I've hunted with him for 2 years beforehand. The guy could cover country. I like to call him a mountain goat man." End quote. When asked if he thought that there could have been some type of tragic accident, he again refuted this, saying, quote, "Not even a second. No. We've put hours and hours and hours down there walking river bottoms, and I don't think he's in a river. I don't think that at all. I think he's buried underground and he's hidden. If he got hurt by that storm, Mother Nature doesn't hide a body like that." End quote. Chance's mother, Dawn, has also been very vocal about this. Here's a clip of her discussing this possibility on News Center 1.
He was a smart kid, and he wouldn't have went in the storm. He wouldn't have been by the river. He wouldn't have got washed away. We grew up by the Cheyenne River. He knows to respect it.
During these water searches, they used sonar, they had dogs, they did aerial searches. They shut down the Gering Central Canal, and had 18 different agencies looking for Chance. They didn't find any evidence to lead them to believe he fell in the water. So I can absolutely see why Chance's loved ones were eager to move on from this possibility and on to the next. On Thursday, July 11th, so 5 days after Chance went missing, the Gering Police Department announces that they're going to stop the searches for Chance. They're going to shift their focus to the investigation. Chief Holthus explains that they've basically looked everywhere that made sense, and they needed to start focusing on things like Chance's bank records, sweeping the area for any surveillance video from local businesses that haven't come forward yet. They needed to conduct interviews. They needed to move on to the next step. Now, there were some sightings of Chance in the area and surrounding states, but none panned out. The most compelling sighting, in my opinion, comes from a woman who says she not only saw Chance the night he went missing, she had some type of encounter with him. But when the police follow up on the lead and review over 6 hours of surveillance footage from that Walmart, they insist they didn't see any type of encounter, and they didn't see Chance enter or exit the store. When they go back to this woman and tell her this, she says that they're wrong, that maybe that encounter happened in an area of the store that wasn't recorded. However, it is worth noting that the family has come out to say that they feel like this lead has been thoroughly investigated, and they basically don't believe it was Chance. That being said, let's talk about some of the most discussed theories, items of interest, and controversies in this case, if only to help clear up some misinformation and speculation, because this case is riddled with that when you look it up. First, let's address the elephant in the room, the fight on the golf course between Chance and Baylee's family members. Now, the public details about this are vague. We don't know how much they were drinking, and we don't know exactly who said what. But obviously, Chance was very upset by whatever happened there. The Gering Police Department have made several statements about their investigative efforts looking into Baylee and her family. And so has Baylee. Interviews have been conducted, polygraphs have been administered, and many of the family members have voluntarily let law enforcement search their homes. Basically, the Gering PD says that they've all been very forthcoming and cooperative. However, after Chance went missing, several things happened that make people suspicious of Baylee and those around her. Shortly after Chance went missing, one of his friends went to his home to see if he was there. When he walked up to the door, he saw a random cell phone sitting on the porch. While Matt was on his way to pick up this cell phone and turn it over to police, a neighbor who was also a good friend of Chance's grabs it instead. Now, according to Chance's family, this random cell phone belonged to a person who didn't have housing at that time. It was fully investigated by authorities and nothing came of it. But Matt has come out to say that he felt it was odd that the neighbor grabbed it before he could. But again, Chance's family says that this neighbor is a good friend, and they don't seem to have any doubts about the investigation into the phone. So again, take it for what you will. Next, let's talk about the cement. So the same week Chance went missing, a family friend of Baylee's poured some concrete. This is also something that was fully investigated, and appears to be a non-issue to law enforcement and Chance's family. A lot of people have also pointed to Baylee's behavior after Chance went missing. Baylee made some statements about believing Chance was not alive pretty early on, stating she just knew that there was no way he would leave his family, and especially banks. She also reportedly tried to access Chance's 401k account and obtain a death certificate for him in order to collect money from Social Security. Ultimately, she was not able to do this because in Nebraska, someone has to be missing for 7 years before that can happen. The lead investigator on Chance's case, Brian Eads, told News Nation that yes, this was a red flag for them, but, quote, "She had a son to provide for. She was not working at the time. Chance was the sole breadwinner for the house, and in discussing it with Chance's mom, they discussed that if he was to get on Chance's Social Security, they would have to have a death certificate in order to show that. She's always been very cooperative with me, very cordial, interviewed her at length. My first interview with her was probably a couple hours long, so she's always been very cooperative," end quote. Now, even Matt has come out to kind of defend Baylee's actions here, saying that she and Chance just got this new house and Chance just got that new truck. So he believes Baylee was likely just trying to make sure Banks was taken care of, as opposed to having malicious intent. But Matt Miller has also stated that Baylee had a conversation with Chance's employer and said something to make them believe that Chance might not be coming back for his job, and this concerned Matt. On the flip side of that, there's also a press conference where Baylee's mother and Chance's mother reiterate that Chance's job was still waiting for him should he want it. Again, we're in this world of a lot of he said, she said, but I can imagine Baylee expressing those same feelings to Chance's employer that she had to others, that she just didn't think he was coming back, that she was fearing the worst. Now, you can see in his interviews how much Matt cares for Chance. It's super obvious. So I just want to take a moment and say, please don't send any hate to these people. I'm just trying to play devil's advocate here the best I can to bring you the facts as objectively as possible. But I do think it's important to remember that at this time in 2019, Baylee is 20 years old. Her husband just went missing, leaving her with an infant child, a brand new mortgage, and likely an expensive truck payment, with suddenly zero money coming in. Those aren't things she can just ignore to take time to grieve. I also want to remind you guys that everyone grieves differently. Those are just the facts. All of this has caused the media to focus quite a bit on Baylee, and she's gotten a lot of hate. As a result, she's taken a step back from the public eye, which caused even more suspicion and hate. But ultimately, the Gering police have been very clear that they don't consider Baylee a person of interest. This didn't stop people from speculating, though. One true crime content creator found Chance's case and says that when she saw Dawn crying on TV, she knew she wanted to help. So she began discussing Chance's case on her YouTube channel. Then, in February 2021, she went to Baylee and Chance's home where Baylee still lives with Banks to try to obtain an interview. Baylee later filed for a protective order citing concerns for her son's safety. One reason I think Baylee and her family have been a large focus is the absence of evidence in this case. I mean, outside of that fight, a cell phone ping, and 2 surveillance videos, it doesn't seem like authorities have a lot of evidence to help with their investigation. Or at least they're not telling the public. Chance's family has discussed a picture that was being circulated of a man who appeared to be unsheltered. People thought it could be Chance, that maybe he bumped his head that night, forgot who he was. and just couldn't find his way back home. But his family says it's not him, and they're trying to dispel this rumor so people don't stop looking for him. It wasn't until October 2021 that the next possible clue in the case would be discovered.
You know that thing where you get an amazing pair of shoes at a really great price and want to tell everyone about it? Yeah, so do we. Here at Designer Shoe Warehouse, we'll give you something to brag about, like the latest styles from brands you love, or the trends everyone's obsessing over, or shoes that make you feel like, well, you. So go ahead, show off a little. Find shoes that get you at prices that get your budget. Head to your DSW store or DSW.com today. DSW, let us surprise you.
This episode of Voices for Justice is brought to you by Quince. I've been trying to be more intentional about what I wear each day. I'm leaning into pieces that feel effortless, comfortable, and still put together, and Quince has been my go-to. The fabrics feel elevated, the fits are flattering, and everything just works without overthinking it. They use premium materials like 100% European linen, organic cotton, and ultra-soft denim. And the best part? Everything is priced 50 to 80% less than similar brands. They work directly with ethical factories and cut out the middlemen, so you're paying for quality and craftsmanship, not brand markup. I recently just ordered their tiered linen dress, of course in black. I wanted to pair it with one of my favorite pairs of brown wedges. The problem was, I didn't have a brown purse. So I got that from Quince too. It's one of my favorite outfits. It's easy, effortless, and feels amazing, especially as we're getting a little bit warmer here in Phoenix. Refresh your everyday with luxury you'll actually use. Head to quince.com/justice for free shipping on your order and 365-day returns. Now available in Canada too. That's QUINCE.com/justice for free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/justice. By October 2021, it's been over 2 years since Chance Englebert was last seen. There have been extensive searches, a lot of suspicion cast on his wife Baylee and her family, but very little real answers. I know it's cliche, but it's like he just vanished. Then they find something huge. According to the Scottsbluff County Sheriff Mark Overman, a lower piece of an arm bone was found downstream on the North Platte River. It was sent to the University of Nebraska's crime lab to perform DNA analysis of the bone marrow. Unfortunately, due to the condition of the bone and the fact that it was sitting in water for some time, the testing was not able to be done. It was then sent to a lab at a Florida university to see if they can test it. Officials have not given a timeline for this testing, and as far as I could find, nothing has come back yet. But officials have stated that they believe it's likely not Chance's. They actually believe it could belong to another missing person, 72-year-old Walter Gene Patterson Black. He also went missing near the North Platte River, and they did find a piece of clothing near that bone that more closely resembled what Gene Patterson Black was wearing than what Chance was last seen wearing. Gene was last seen wearing a tan plaid long-sleeve shirt and was last seen in Scottsbluff. His SUV was found abandoned in a local YMCA parking lot. It's believed he might have intentionally entered the river. On the 3-year anniversary of Chance's disappearance, Brian Eads announced that they were investigating a new theory. This was the theory that Chance may have been a victim of a robbery gone wrong. He adds that there are no persons of interest in this case, and they basically have no evidence to point towards Chance's disappearance being a tragic accident or the result of foul play. It's just one of those cases where it seems like they don't know what happened at all. But that's pretty much where the case is today. These cases where it seems like almost anything could have happened are so hard. It has ripped these families apart. Dawn Englebert says that she and Baylee no longer speak, and she hasn't seen her grandson Banks in over 2 years now. It's very clear that so many people that love Chance are hurting deeply. Which brings me right to our call to action. Please take a moment to follow Chance's family on Facebook. Their page is called Help Find Chance Englebert. They are very active on there. They're always posting about their efforts to raise awareness for the case. They do walks, they sell merch, and there are many ways to help them on that page. Following them is the best way to stay up to date on this case. Of course, I will have all of those links in the episode description and on my website. But I'd love if you took a moment to follow the page and share at least one of their posts. Your support probably means so much more than you know. Chance Englebert went missing from Gering, Nebraska on July 6, 2019. Chance has brown hair and hazel eyes. He's 5 feet 11 inches tall and has a medium build. He was last seen wearing a short-sleeve button-up Wrangler shirt, dark blue Wrangler jeans, Roper-style boots, and a black and white trucker hat. Anyone with information is asked to contact the Gering Police Department at 308-436-5088. As of recording this episode, Chance's family is offering a $17,000 reward for information leading to his recovery. But as always, thank you, I love you, and I'll talk to you next time. Voices for Justice is hosted and produced by me, Sarah Turney, and is a Voices for Justice Media original. To hear more stories hosted by me, check out my other podcast, Disappearances, only on Spotify. And for even more content, or if you just want to support the show, check out my Patreon page at patreon.com/voicesforjustice.